Good morning, Mr. LeBlanc here. LeBlanc's takeaways on FDR and the New Deal. This is probably going to be a 3 or 4 part series. There's no way I can cover FDR and the New Deal in 4 to 5 minutes. It was just way too extensive and comprehensive. So we're going to start with the beginning portion of FDR's presidency. FDR ends up winning the election of 1932. By FDR, I mean Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He runs as a Democrat, obviously, and people were very displeased and unhappy with the Republican President Hoover. In fact, they renamed their shanty towns where homeless and poor people were living as Hoovervilles, kind of to spite him. So FDR ends up winning the election, and he runs on the campaign slogan of a new deal for everyone. He wants to help everyone. So when he becomes president, he enacts a series of programs designed in 3 areas. He wants to recover, like help people recover from depression or the impacts. Relief, so he wants to give immediate relief. So we're going to give people money. We're going to help give them jobs. We are going to help relieve the burdens of the Great Depression. Recovery, I already said. And he's going to try to reform. What I mean by reform is he's going to create the FDIC to make sure the banks actually have your money. They can't just use it in the stock market or anything like that. FDIC is still around today. Social Security. He's going to create programs that will prevent another Great Depression from ever happening. So again, the 3 R's: recovery, relief, reform. He ends up creating most of these in what's called the first 100 days. Nowadays, in 2020, 2019, 2018, like we determine how good a presidency is going to be based on what they do in that first 100 days. And this principle that we live by today is basically originated because FDR created so many New Deal programs in his first 100 days when he was waiting to take over office, in that lull between the election and when he actually takes over. So the first portion of the New Deal is primarily works on like the banking system. He creates a banking holiday. What he does with that day is he shuts down every single bank in the entire country, which at this point is not as many as you might think. He shuts them down for one day. He sends government officials into each bank to make sure, like, if you say you have $100,000 and you don't have $100,000, the bank is closed, you're out of business, that's it. So he helped to rely faith in the banking system. When that bank's reopened the day after the bank holiday, if the bank reopened, the public could trust that that bank was loyal to them and was not lying and actually had the money it said it had. So if I have $2,000 in my checking account and that bank doesn't open the next day, they probably didn't have my money. But I know that my brother's bank did open. So that bank is a trustworthy bank. So I'm going to go and have faith in that bank. So it helped people to restore trust in the banking system. Remember, a lot of people just needed something to hold on to. This is where, this time period is where people begin putting money under their mattress because they don't trust the banks. The problem with that is if money is not in the banks, the economy is actually suffering. The next thing he did, which is very important in my opinion, and a lot of people don't necessarily give it the credit it desires and deserves, is fireside chats. What that was is the president would have microphones on his desk and he would talk, and he would basically just talk on the radio to people. And that sounds very stupid and very funny sounding today for 2020, but families would sit around their radio every single night and they would listen to the president talk. He didn't always have the answers, but he told the American people, hey man, I know we're struggling, but we're going to get through this together. And it was a calming and soothing voice. He said, he laid out his plans like, hey, this week I'm going to have a banking holiday. We're going to close every bank. And the only banks that open are the ones that have your money and you can trust. And he walked through his plans with them. It was almost like the president of the United States was in your living room telling you exactly how he's going to help you and exactly how he's going to fix your problems. It's not like the political speeches we see today. It was very humbling. He was just, man, we're suffering as a country, and I know that. And I'm going to help us through this, and this is how I'm going to do this. And he would do these every night. They eventually came into a weekly thing. And in the Great Depression, when people don't have anything to hold on to, he gave them that hope. He gave them that feeling of the president is on my side and he's going to help get us through it. And I think that that is what people needed. They needed to feel like someone was on their side, someone was helping them. And that's what the fireside chats did. You know, just like families watch TV together, their families would gather around a radio every other night and listen to the president's fireside chats. Called it fireside chats because, you know, if two people were sitting in the living room, there'd be a fire going and they would be chatting. He wanted that like personal relationship to be had through the radio, and I personally think he achieved it. So again, first stages creates the trust in the banks. He also helps to regulate the stock market by creating the SEC, or the Security and Exchange Commission, and the fireside chats. Obviously, there are tons more we're going to go over. Tennessee Valley Authority, Social Security Act, the CCC, the FCIC. There are literally almost over 100 altogether. There are many are still around today, but so far takeaways for today: fireside chats help to really calm people down. Banking system, banking holiday, restored people's faith in the banking system because the president shut down the banks that were unloyal or dishonest. And his 3 R's: relief, recovery, reform. He's going to help give immediate relief. He's going to help people recover from the Great Depression, and he's going to reform society so that it never happens again. Again, this is part 1 of probably 3 segments. If you have any questions, comment box, reach out to me. Other than that, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe. Mr. LeBlanc.